So uncivilized.
Greetings and welcome to, you know what it is, the 1/6 Scale Man proudly presents another episode of Uncivilized Scoundrels. So glad to have you guys here. Do me a favor while you are actually tuning in. Hit that like button like this thing right here tells you to do. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you are always up to date with everything that we actually have going on over here on this particular channel. Of course, you know we are in the thick of things. We are on episode 4 of, you know what it is, The Acolyte. Now, this has proven to be one of the most, divisive shows amongst the community in the Star Wars community. That is, some of us like it, some of us love it, some of us have, just certain opinions. But then there's a lot of people who hate watch it and just wait for an opportunity to tear this movie or this show down. But subjectively, I'm glad that we have some, really sound minds and individuals, even though they may not like it. We can meet in a way where it is respectful, and definitely those opinions are valued and constructive. So that's the space we want to live in. But definitely I can't do this without the crew. And first off, because I'm excited. We have to always go ladies first. We got Cece back in the building. Cece, what is going on with you? So glad to have you here.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. It's been a very long time. So looking forward to this for sure.
Definitely so glad to have you here as always. Next up, we got Vinny in the building. What's going on with you, bro?
Not as exciting as CC's return, but I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm chilling, man. It's a long day, long week, long month, long year. But I'm here. I'm happy to be talking Star Wars. It's been hot. We're in the middle of a heat wave, and we're gonna talk about some Acolyte and among other things. So always a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to talk Star Wars.
Yes, it is, bro. Definitely. It's always a pleasure to be here. And it's a pleasure to have all of you guys out there that are watching us tonight. It's definitely going to be an incredible conversation, interesting conversation. We're going to probably have a few people duck in opinions. We're going to get to the main event shortly. But before we do that, I always got to pay homage to the places where we actually get these figures from. So definitely I wanted to give a shout out to my man Ray over there at Underground Figures. I call him Underground Ray. If you don't got it, he'll get it for you. No NRD, full transparency when it comes to responding. On top of that, he'll get you that figure in such a timely manner. Make sure that you sign up for the newsletter so you are always up to date with figures that are coming out, when your figure might be coming. So you're pretty much up to date with that. You head on over there, you tell Ray I sent you, and he'll definitely take care of you. Such an incredible guy. Make sure you also are up to date with a lot of stills and deals he has going over there as well. Also, I want to give a super duper shout out to my man Ray over there at Hawk Wars Toys. I call him Hawk Wars Ray. Definitely, not only do you get the figure that you're looking for, but you get the comic book stickers to boot. He got a whole bunch of grails over there that if you're looking for, you can find it through him. Again, full transparency, and he'll make sure that he'll get those figures out to you in such a timely manner. So definitely hit him up. Tell him the layout sent you. He's also the proud sponsor of the Summer Madness that's going on over there at the Figure Flex Friday Facebook group. And tomorrow is the first official day of the Summer Madness that's going to be going on over there. So definitely you want to tune in. Also, I want to give a shout out to my man, Watch His Sixth over there, Comic Relief and Comic Collectibles. Not only do you get the comics you're looking for, you get statues, 1/10 scale, 1/12 scales. Anything you're looking for, you can find it over there. You let him know that I sent you, and he'll definitely take care of you. Also, last but not least, we want to talk about Module Space. Brian Wong over there at Module Space, Module Case. If you're looking for an incredible display, head on over there, tell him what you're looking for, and he'll find it for you. Again, immaculate displays. Also, he has that mono that they just introduced a couple weeks ago that's going to be shipping out pretty soon. I should actually have it here, so once I get it, I'll be doing a review on that. It is the replacement for the DTOF. Again, you already know those DTOFs are over $100. So, hey, why not get the best if you can? So definitely shout out to Brian Wong as well, man. So definitely wanted to do that. So before we get in, I want to actually shout out and see who we got in here in the community with us. We got Vinny in here. I mean, well, Vinny's missus Amber May is in the building. Thank you for being here.
What's up, Amber?
Definitely, thank you. We got a BMW 3 lover in the building. Thank you for being here as always. We got the zombie hunter in the building. Hey guys, thank you for being here. That's zombie hunter 15. We got Pedro in the building. He says CZ3PO. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I like what you did there. We got Supernova Moore in the building. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here, brother, as always. Who else we got in here? Zinzan is in the building. Thank you for being here. We got Mark P in the building. Thank you for being here as always. We got Valkyrie Magnus in the building. Thank you for being here, bro. Good evening. Who else we got in the building? And we got my man Holland Toy Flicks in the building. Thank you for being. That's Crispy Craig as always, as we know him. Who else we got in here? We got music and collectibles to receive the order. Thank you for being here as always. What does he say? I would like to get module cases, but the problem is the waiting time. Does it still take 2 years? I don't know pretty much now. Like I think he's cut that time in half. No, he's basically a lot of that was due to production. A lot of that was also due to what was going on with the pandemic, but I think a lot of that changed. And because he has much more of a demand, he did actually extend. So you might get it a lot quicker. So I hit him up, and I'll definitely think he'll let you know. We got the movie canon in the building. Thank you for being here, brothers. Always, Fattel, the collector in the building. Thank you for being here, my guy. As always, looking sharp. And who else we got in here with us? It's a zombie hunter and all that. So I think we basically covered everybody who is actually tuning in with us. So let's get to that show, man. Let's get to that show. And before we do, now we got a couple of things that's going on in the Star Wars community right now. Mainly, one of the biggest things that it could be expected. We know that Filoni, and with his title and what he actually holds, what is it like? Creative? He's like a creative, a head of creative, whatever. So whenever something actually happens,
he's the HGIC.
Yeah, right. Right.
The head geek in charge.
Head geek in charge. You already know. So definitely when there is, any type of development of any type of shows, IPs, whatever, he's first to go through it and always bring it up. So definitely he's been ahead of that. But also we know that he's been a part of the overseeing
CCO of Lucasfilm.
Yeah, of Lucasfilm, definitely. He's also been overseeing like certain projects such as Ahsoka, which he's basically heading up, and then we also know he's going to have his live action film as well. So we're going to definitely dive into that as well. But what we know so far is that his feature film is not going to actually come out first. It's going to be season 2 of Ahsoka, and how he explained it was the reason why he did it that way is because everything that's going to actually happen, a lot of things that's going to happen within this second season is going to be heading into what's going to go on within the feature film. We know that also Favreau is working on Grogu, Mandalorian and Grogu, whatever. So that's going to be happening, and a lot of what's going to take place there is going to be heading into the film as well. Now, we had heard rumors before that they were going to give us like a season 4 of The Mandalorian. I don't know if that's on hold, if that's still going on, but it's just more so like a wait and see. But they did say also that Hayden Christensen is going to have more of a prevalent role in season 2 of Ahsoka. And they've been really selling it because I don't know if y'all seen online, they've been everywhere. Definitely they've been talking to different venues, talking about the success of Ahsoka. And I think that Disney is doing this purposely, or Lucasfilm is doing this purposely to kind of hype that up, to let people know that actually coming. Also, we can honestly say that a lot of that is to kind of overshadow the hate that's been going on with a certain IP that we're going to get to in a little bit. So they want to kind of divert the energy over to that. See, I'm gonna start with you first. Are you looking forward to a season 2 of Ahsoka?
Oh, of course, especially if, I'm really biased. Vader is my favorite character. I'd love more scenes featuring Anakin or Vader. So, I'm certainly looking for, and of course Thrawn. Thrawn's my second favorite character, so I can't go wrong with season 2. I also hope that the pacing's a little faster. because we already laid the groundwork. They already introduced Thrawn. We already know Ahsoka and Sabine's relationship. So that was my only big critique with Ahsoka, is that it started quite slow for everything that had to offer or show. So I think it's almost like they're dipping their toe in. I'm hoping that season 2 is a little more fleshed out, a little more like, okay, let's go. Like we got the preview, we got the trailer, let's get the movie going, kind of thing. So yeah, looking forward to it, of course.
Yeah, so just the flow, and I get it. Like we know everything now. Like we're already in that space, so we don't have to keep, harping in on certain. We don't have to move at like such a, the build up for it, and how you were trying to tie it in, with Rebels. We already know that now. You know what I mean? We know, where that kind of resides. So now it's time for us to kind of branch out into a much bigger space, and really focus on telling the story. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with Balin, since the great Ray Stevens passed away, so that's going to also be interesting. Benny, what are your thoughts about Ahsoka season 2?
Freezing up.
Am I freezing up? Are you okay, Benny?
Yeah, well, for me anyway.
Oh, okay. All right, just making sure. But what do you think about? What do you think?
You're chopping up to me. Am I chopping up to you?
Well, I'm fine. You're fine to me so far. Cece, how's everything on your end?
Both of you guys seem
come back in case it's me.
Are you gonna come out and come back in? Yeah, he must be chopping up. While he's doing that, we got gifted music and collectibles gifted 1/6 scale man membership. So thank you very much for that. So one lucky person has actually been gifted. Yeah, I think his internet is cutting out. Cece, I want to ask you though, like when we, talking about this season 2, do you think that Filoni should be more hands-on as far as development? Do you think that they should? My biggest question is, should they stick with this whole thing of having multiple directors come in and direct different episodes? And does it sometimes, when they do that, does it feel like the story carries over well? Does it seem like it's not as cohesively told, or you can tell that the styles have changed? Do you think that there should be more focus in on having him probably, and I know it would probably be more tiring for him. Do you think it would be more of an issue with him directing it by himself? Are you okay with like the multiple directors during the season?
It's weird. I think with some directors, it's almost like you could tell they did a great job if you can't tell who directed it.
Yeah.
If you suspect it was directed by someone else because of how great it is. Like the example of that, wow, like this episode stands out to me, I wonder who did it, was the one that Bryce Dallas Howard did. Ooh, this was a great episode. That might explain it. And then the other one, actually, I was thinking about that my friend and I were talking about today was with Book of Boba Fett and Robert Rodriguez. So that was an episode where it's not necessarily that it stood out in my mind because it was an amazing episode and really well directed. It was clearly his style. Yeah. So it stood out more so because it was trademark Rodriguez, as opposed to like, that was a great episode, kind of like the Bryce Dallas Howard example I gave. I don't know if it absolutely needs to be all directed by Dave Filoni. I feel like he would have a huge hand in the development of the series regardless of who directs the episode. I think especially because anything that Ahsoka is involved in, I think he tends to be heavily involved in. So I almost prefer if there are multiple directors involved, because as much as I can't, from my untrained eye, always discern like, okay, this episode is really great because this director did it and I know that director and I know their work is good, like unless it's a big name, I'm not attuned to stuff like that. But I like that it could give us variety of storytelling and give people more of a chance. Like, I don't think we'd be more excited about Bryce Dallas Howard if she had not done that episode.
Yeah.
She could do more.
Definitely. And the episodes that she's done so far, episodes that she's touched, like I still, I sit back and watched how brilliant, even though people didn't like the simple fact that there was a diversion in, like a cut scene or a cut episode from the main story that was being told in Book of Boba Fett. I liked, even like the scene, it was the one take scene, like with the camera, it was like a one shot, basically where it's following her through the following Mando through the elevator, where he delivered, the asset and then getting back in the elevator. Like that was a crazy shot, but I love her style. Of course, I mean, look, if you got a father, Ron Howard, I mean, that he's going to definitely help you out and make sure. I mean, she comes from impressive genes and, incredible talent. So a lot of her work stands out. It really, really does. And she does such a brilliant and amazing job, with some of the stuff that she does. So, I agree. Like, I like the different styles, but then it's like when we get into certain shows, I think that sometimes it can be good for one show itself, or, such as Ahsoka. Maybe another show, it may not be as good because you can tell like the conversations weren't really always there between directors. But I don't know. I think he's going to be really, really hands on with this and make sure it's steered in the right direction. Um, Vinny, what are your thoughts on season 2 of, or what's going to happen, or just your overall thoughts with having a season 2 of Ahsoka?
You were breaking up. You were talking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I don't know if it's me or you, but you were chopping in and out. I was waiting for it to fix itself. I think I got you now, though. Yeah. Season 2 of Ahsoka. It's There's a lot of going on. It feels like it's a little confusing with the juggling. Like, is Ahsoka 2 going to come before the film? Is Mando 4 going to be another season of the show, or is it going to be film? As long as they've got all that squared away and fleshed out, and they are sure what they're going to be doing, and then stick to that plan and go forward with it, I'm excited, because this is all the creme de la creme of Disney and Star Wars right now. This is all the good stuff, all the stuff that everyone's been loving. So I just want them to stay on target, for lack of a better term, with that. And Ahsoka season 1 was phenomenal to me. I loved it. They did so much right in it. I can't really think of an episode I didn't like. And there were some that are some of my favorite Star Wars moments, period. So there was a very, very high interest for me in another season of Ahsoka. And I feel like when we get to Filoni's movie, it's going to be bittersweet, because from what he's saying, that's supposed to like tie everything up. And as much as it's a double-edged sword for me, because I really am anxious to see that film, but especially calling it Heir to Empire. I mean, come on. And then, but on the other side, I'm not ready to let go of all these properties that have been delivering so much great Star Wars content, such as Ahsoka and Mando and all that. Like all those shows have been just so amazing, and we're seeing what's happening as they, get away from those shows. I don't know if you're going to. I don't know. I think that it's possible that maybe they do have some challenges to face when Mandalorian and Ahsoka and Andor are all done, and we're just left with Acolytes and Skeleton Crew and all these new shows that haven't been as successful or anticipated, and we'll see how that works out. But I'm absolutely excited for another season of Ahsoka. I kind of like the idea of Mando being a film going into Empire instead of a TV show. Maybe that makes it less of an experimental thing like season 3 was, and more of Mando being badass and it being his show again. But we'll see how that works out, and I'm anxious to see whatever Bryce Dallas Howard has in store too. I am kind of hesitant on, like, I mean, it's unavoidable, and this is the type of stuff we deal with all the time. But I wish we didn't have to hear. Sometimes I wish we didn't have to hear every single, just opinion or rumor or just like passing thought, like, oh, it would be fun to do that project, and then that's a story for weeks or months, and like there's no
No
actual
movement, no actual movement.
movie, no actual plot, script or anything. Just somebody saying that they'd like to do something, and that's a headline that we have to kind of like do something with, and it's kind of like, okay, but is she going to be given one? So like, obviously she would, she's been directing television shows and been heavily involved in Hollywood since for many years. Obviously, she'd like to do a film. That don't really mean anything unless they are going to give her one. So I
Yeah.
don't know if how much more of that is like too much, because Disney just loves to do that. They like leak info and leak people's thoughts and stuff like that just to see, like, test the waters. But it means nothing, because the stuff that they want to do that people don't like, they do anyway. So even if people shit on the idea, it's not like it would stop them. And if people love the idea, it's not like it would make them want to do it. They're going to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, that you know what, it's crazy, because when we think about it, bro, it's the constant track record with Lucasfilm and Disney right now to leak levels of inconsistency when it comes to, okay,
Yes.
We have such and such director that's in the running for this particular property, and it doesn't happen.
Right.
And that's the thing. That right there becomes a crutch, because now everybody is already living in that space of cry wolf when it comes to Lucasfilm. I mean, they already have so much heat on them at the moment. So it's like, what do we do in a space where, okay, do we believe you? Do we not? Is there going to be movement? Is there going to be any type of traction? Do you already have an idea of where you're going? Do you know where you're going with this IP? Do you really, really stick behind this? Are we going to see this coming to fruition? Now, right now, she's just saying that her interest is there. We don't know if that's something that's going to actually happen. Maybe they're still grooming her for this space. Maybe she herself is like, look, when the time comes, the time has come. Right now, I'm just getting ready. I have a lot of things that are going on right now. I got to make sure that I'm ready to do it. And when my time comes, my time comes. But I get it. It's like, you don't want these conversations to float around, because the thing is, if you look, I'm going to tell you like this. Everybody's been already saying what they want to say about, Disney and Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy. I'm telling y'all right now, don't y'all dare say shit about Bryce Dallas Howard to me. Don't. I love her as a director. I love her as a person. Leave her alone, man. She's just a director, and she'll interpret things the way she wants. Like, people just got to get that out of their head, bro. Like, just don't do that. Please don't. It's not a space for it. Just let it be what it is. Charlie Unicorn, definitely, Disney needs to trust the creators more. They definitely do. And hopefully we can get to that space. Speaking of Bryce Dallas, CC, what do you think about her, making a statement that, she wants to definitely jump into the fray when it comes to directing? She wants to direct, or she might be ready for it. Do you think she's ready for it? Or would you be happy to definitely see that happen and transpire?
Yeah, of course. And I think that I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that she said that she'd be willing to. I think it's pretty innocuous. I would say, like, those directors are the ones that have teased that they're either working with Disney on something Star Wars related, or contracted to. It tends to be self-sabotage that causes them not to. I'm thinking of, like, Jenkins with Wonder Woman. And the other thing I thought about with this is, kind of reminds me of like, as far as people, like fans wanting to champion people for certain projects. I think it was Lucy Lawless years ago who said that fan fervor was so strong for her to play Wonder Woman that it meant that no one in Hollywood took her seriously for the part of something like Wonder Woman. So I hate for, like, the hype to be too much that it's almost like they don't take this seriously. But she does have a track record with not only Disney but Star Wars. So yeah, I mean, give her more episodes, if anything. Give her some Ahsoka episodes until you could figure out what movie. Star Wars needs to be back in theaters like yesterday.
Yeah, it does.
I certainly hope it would be a movie, but until they could figure that out, I think that, yeah, give her a Star Wars movie, give her some more episodes. I think anything at this point would be incredibly welcome.
Yeah, definitely it would be. And Vinny, I know you had a couple things that you had already said about Bryce Dallas Howard. But again, like her coming from this level of royalty, her episode on Mandalorian, season 2 was one of my favorite. Her with Bo-Katan, Cosca Reeves, Mando. That was one of my favorite episodes that she's actually done thus far. Because it definitely was a setup to what was to come, and I think it was directed well. The pacing on it was incredible. Everything that she's touched so far, the pacing has been incredible. I think she also did episode 2. Remember, she did episode 2 on season 1, I believe. I think it was episode 2 or 3 or one of those episodes. But I think she's an incredible talent. What are your thoughts? You ready to see it? You think she's groomed and ready for it?
Absolutely. I agree with Cece that it would maybe make sense for her to direct a few more television episodes to get more added to her resume. But to a different Cece point, she was discussing earlier about signature styles from different directors, and I think one of the things that they probably would find endearing about her is there isn't necessarily a signature style to her stuff. It's just solid and well paced and well directed, but it's not like you don't necessarily watch a Bryce Dallas Howard episode and go, okay, that was definitely Bryce who did that one. You know what I mean? You just kind of you wind up enjoying the episode, loved everything about it, and then you're like, oh, I wonder who directed that one, and it was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It was solid, and I think, not to be dramatic about it, but I think that that's maybe what Star Wars could use right now. Safe. Somebody is not going to go out and do something experimental and risky in a time where they kind of maybe want to, play some prevent defense, protect the quarterback. Not it's not Hail Mary time. You don't want somebody that's going to go out there and come up with some kind of David Fincher type of Star Wars film to try to return fans to the audiences to the theater. You want something that's going to be a solid, fun, clever, well written, amazing Star Wars film. You don't want something that's going to be too experimental for the first one back in the theaters, and that's what she's been giving you as far as the television episodes. I mean, yeah, you aren't going to want Robert Rodriguez, directing the first Star Wars film back in the theaters, and you're going to want somebody who's going to give you just like a great, solid experience from start to finish. And I think that is the kind of, that's what she brings to the table, because she obviously comes from, like I said, she comes from royalty. Like, I mean, she grew up watching her father do this, and it comes seemingly pretty natural to her. So I love that she is a big as star she is, has looks and talent and all those skills, but her passion is behind the camera, and I say go for it.
Yeah, passion definitely behind the camera. And I think, the most important thing about it is both her and Ron Howard know the lore. That's the thing, that they know it. And that right there is the biggest draw for me, is that you want people who know the lore and care about it just as much. You know what I mean? I mean, her playing, Jedi Master Yaddle, and Tales of the Jedi was incredible. And she did such a good job. Like, if they ever brought Yaddle back in, she would definitely have to do the voice. in live action if they wanted to do something, in the past. But again, she knows the lore, and that's the most important thing. When you have somebody who has that much passion for the lore, it just makes, so much sense. And that's the person you're going to definitely need. That's the person you would want. Definitely.
Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, it saved the whole damn season.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was sad that it took Mando to be doing what we expected Boba Fett to be doing, but you had a whole season of Boba Fett just kind of neutered in many ways, and Mandalorian showing up, cutting heads off, and taking names. It was amazing, and it presented us with the intensity we were hoping to see from the show, the allure, the mystery, the pacing was on point, and the writing, and just everything about it was just what we had been wanting to see from that show. So, in retrospect, conversely, it was not like that with the Sanctuary episode. That one had like world building and like serenity and like cinematography, and like it was more peaceful episode. It was slower, like, so she understands when to do what she needs to do and when not. So
yeah. That's exactly it. She understands. Having that level of understanding is definitely important, bro. And it definitely a beautiful thing. And I think that's basically why she has so much of a leg up in that space. And I think that they should utilize it more because of that level of appreciation. And you have a gem. Like, bro, I honestly believe, that she can come out, direct a film that will kill it. And that will also bridge that gap, and you would see less divide. Well, it would at least help to heal. It'll help to heal some of the divisiveness, possibly. I think that if she,
about to say, bro,
yeah, I know
they brought that woman out there with all those things she said about her previous film, but they're smart. They understand what the PR would have happened as soon as they hired her. The lady, I forget her name, but the lady they hired to do the Rey film, they knew all the shit that would be coming out that people would dig and find, and use that to hate on the Rey film before anybody even went to work. Yes. Whereas with a Deborah Chow or Bryce Dallas Howard, you have people who are women, who is what they want, and have that diversity, but you have a clean slate with no controversy or drama. It's frustrating on that level.
They'll just call her a nepo baby, but that's,
I mean, at this point, that's so. I'm sure at this point she'd take that over all the shit that the other girl's gonna catch as soon as we really start ramping up into Rey.
Yeah, I mean, it's, bro, that's the thing. Like, we live in a space where as soon as you slap a Star Wars logo on any type of an IP, whether it's film or, streaming option, it's going to get review bombed. That's just the way it feels like. It doesn't matter what the film is, it's never going to, unless it's directed by a man, starring a man. Honestly, that's what it feels like, because that's been like these, the constant argument, the constant bickering is that if it's a female, it's automatically woke. If it's a female director, it's automatically woke. If it exploits a certain level of sexuality, automatically woke. If it has any woman of color, it's automatically woke. But none of this is being said when the optics are changed. It's a hard space to live in, unfortunately, when you're a Star Wars fan. But like everything, I have hope. I have hope, bro. I still have hope for it. I had hope that, things, eventually people will be more accepting and it will change some minds. I know that's a big statement to make, bro, but I still have hope, especially for something that you definitely believe in. So we just got to actually see how it's going to work. Now, I said all that because I'm trying to prep and prepare for this next topic, because it is going to be something that's going to be a bit, it's almost damn divisive amongst the community. It's kind of hard to say, like, right?
Well,
it's really, yeah.
Can I say something real quick? How fucking ridiculous that you involve a woman in something and it's woke when we make make up 52% of the population.
Yeah.
It's a diversity hire though. If you hire women for something, it's a diversity hire.
Bro, that you know, it'd always be blanketed. Like they'll always hide behind it. People will hide behind, well, no, we've had strong women in films before. You know, we've had other women that we were, you know, that we migrated to, that we, you know, looked at, and they, you know, we saw the strength, and it wasn't as forced. It wasn't. The thing is we didn't have social media back then either. So you don't know what people might have actually felt was forced and what wasn't. You know what I mean? It's now, because you have Kathleen Kennedy at the head of Disney, everything that's produced by this woman. Mind you, people love The Mandalorian. She greenlit that. People love Rogue One. She greenlit that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people, there's certain things at Andor. People love that. You know, she greenlit that. So the thing is, people aren't willing to celebrate some of her successes because they'll say that there's too many shortcomings to give her credit for. And I'm like, yo, that's to me, you know, you can't be that way. You can't, you know, but look, everybody's opinion is valued. It is what it is, and I just let it float. You know, on that space or in that particular space. But The Acolyte, episode 4. Okay. Now I want to preface this by saying that everybody has this belief that we'll be, you know, we're not as subjective as we say we are, that we, you know, hide behind, you know, so I was even told that I can't believe that you guys are supporting such trash and this, that, and the third, and you guys supposed to be Star Wars fans and you really support this. I think you should question your stance where you are. And I'm like, all right, man, you can kiss my ass. I'm a Star Wars fan, whether you like it or not. I have my take, you have yours, and I just let it go. But again, we can like something, but also have certain opinions about it, you know. And Vinny, we talked about this behind scenes. Like, there's certain aspects of this episode. I was even watching with Toya the other day, and I felt as though, in my opinion, that this was the weakest episode. In my opinion, I felt as though it was one of the weakest episodes when it came to dialogue, and also when it came to, you know, exposition in a sense. Like it just felt sort of like I don't know how to say it, but it felt like, yo, you know, Vinny, if Jason's watching, you know, he's gonna get on you, bro. He's gonna say you have Spectrum.
Contagious.
It's contagious, right?
Is that like that Amish internet? Is there?
And it's always
someone needs to go feed those hamsters or something.
They're not working. It's too hot. They ain't running.
It's a day.
Give him a freaking water bottle. Give the hamsters some freaking water.
Yo,
from what I'm hearing, the people watching is fine. It's just what I'm seeing. So I thought it was somebody else, but as long as I don't know, it keeps working better when I come back in. So we'll just.
But okay, so to set this up, CC. First off, let's talk about it. CC, what did you think? What are your thoughts on the episode itself? How did you feel about it? Seeing all 3 episodes, what did you fall with this particular episode?
So, I am not a huge fan of how short it was.
Yeah.
But all the things that seemed kind of not good to me were things I had already observed. Like you said, like the writing's not fantastic, but it's like prequel, like trilogy writing, in my opinion. Like
that's the way I felt. It's
not amazing, but like we've dealt with it before. Like it's like, we'll survive. It's not Andor level, but we knew it wasn't going to be. Like, set your expectations. I mean, I loved that all of these are location sets. We knew that from behind the scenes photos and stuff. I think the landscape was really lush. I think so far the special effects in this episode and otherwise I think have been good. I don't know if I'm not smart enough to understand what's wrong with the series as a whole or this episode, but I think I briefly told you, like, I don't I haven't had a chance to talk to Matt and Jason about how they've been liking it as well over at Row 16, but I don't understand all the outrage. Like, it's not
Me neither.
me. I'm just like, it does have that like mystery, murder mystery kind of vibes. I wish it was darker, but like, it's me. I wish everything was darker in tone.
Yeah.
And then also like everyone's now talking about, well, how old is this character? And like, what you all are acting like this is a fucking documentary. Like, I really don't care. Like, I don't think it's that big of a plot, like, spoiler. It's not like the Kenobi conundrum of, you know, him seeing Anakin in a rematch before New Hope. Like, that was a bigger deal than this is. Like, dude in the background that you're like, oh, I think that guy's too young to be involved in this.
Yeah.
So my complaint with this is like, okay, the writing's not the best, but whatever. It's survivable. The episode is short. Other than that, I like the sets. I like that they're on location. The designs of the characters so far have been good. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand, because it's not like I can tell you I knew Book of Boba Fett was a total piece of shit 4 episodes in, but this one, I'm like, I want to watch the next one. I want to see what happens. I want to see more of this mysterious master. Like, and I'm enjoying it so far. And
that's I think that's basically where don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying it. Like, I've enjoyed every episode. You know, there were only minor things from this episode that I can say that just little minor things. Well, there were just certain things in this episode that I was curious as to why they took the liberties to do these things in this particular episode, you know, and just the dialogue, just the way they, like with the other episodes, everything was just like, it was there. I was definitely invested, you know, and I'm more so interested in what actually happened. I want to know what happened. So when we get to that, because we saw it from the perspective that we saw it from at that time was from Osha's perspective. You know, I want to see it from a totally different, if they're going to show it from May's perspective, or we're going to see it from I want to see what the story was or what really, really took place. So when they go from that episode to this one, you know, which we
filler.
Yeah, like this felt more like a filler episode where they were just trying to tie up the loose ends to, you know, Kilnaka's, you know, location, and we know that they were going to. It just felt, you know, there was too many things that we sort of guessed would be that I wish we didn't know already. Before we get it, but Vinny, what were your thoughts on the episode as a whole, and you know, what's your thoughts about what went on?
Yeah. I'm on a similar boat. I like the earlier episodes a little bit more than this one. This one here felt obviously it was very short, but I wasn't super engaged for the majority of the episode. I felt it was a little slow, a little boring. I didn't feel like there was a lot of compelling things going on dialogue wise or action wise. So I was kind of like hoping it got a kind of caught up to speed, and then obviously it did real quick at the end, and then it was over. And I was just like, all right, now y'all want to cut. Like, I don't mind a cliffhanger, but if it's not good, if the episode's not good until the end, and then it's a cliffhanger, now it's like, all right, come on, y'all. There was a lot of confusing things about the episode, and not in a I can't wait to see what that was about way, but in a what type of way. I don't think I've ever seen any kind of Jedi mission where they sent 5011 Jedi to do anything, let alone find a little girl. But it was like the Fellowship of the Jedi. Like, it was, why was there 9 Jedi
walkabout,
one unarmed Force user? Like, I get it, she just killed 2 of y'all, but you know what this felt like? It felt like when you kill a cop, and then it's the whole. It's like, all right, we can't let this. But none of them seemed upset. None of them seemed like, oh, we gotta. It seemed like, hey, let's see what's up. Like, it was like they were on a field trip. It was so nonchalant, It was so lackadaisical. It just seemed like there was no urgency. It just seemed so like I ain't doing anything. You mind if I roll with y'all? Like it just it just seemed like they was just all out on a hike. It was so weird. And then they had like Gus, the Pennsylvania's second most famous groundhog, attacking.
Oh shit! Is that why your internet sucks?
It might
Because
be.
you was too busy working on this episode.
It might be. Yeah, but they had Gus, the lottery groundhog, in this episode. I don't know. That was bizarre. And then he didn't even find her. He just like accidentally runs into her. Like he's trying. He just happens to bump into her by accident. He didn't even actually track her. Okay, and then my man, I forget the Wookiee Jedi's name, but
Kilnaka.
But all right, but so he dies, and it wasn't even May. It was like why did the Sith come in now? Like he was supposed to be testing her. It didn't make any sense. Out of nowhere, May decides she doesn't want to kill Jedi anymore. I don't know where that came from. Why? Like maybe because she's seen Osha, but it's almost like they're trying to do a flipperoo. Like maybe they're gonna set up where Osha turns, because that was kind of like the teaser when she was a kid, and maybe that it's May that winds up having to help. It just nothing really kind of made sense. It's almost this one was a tough one for me. There was just a lot that I had issues with.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense why he was like, if your whole point is your Sith testing is to go kill these 4 Jedi, and I just show up and I kill him before you do, and then I'm so powerful, I'm wiping out a whole squadron like it was nothing. We've never seen anything at that level before. I love the design. What's that?
I think because they haven't. I think, like, to give them the benefit of the doubt, I think them sending like 9 people for this, and they seem kind of worthless. Like they just want to walk about, and then they instantly, like, the lightsaber duel gets ended by like one force push. They didn't hit him. Like, I think it's supposed to make the Jedi look incompetent, and it worked. But the one thing I didn't understand was, and I think you're kind of hinting at it, that like May told the other dude whose name I can't remember.
Yeah,
like,
the Chimera.
Yeah, Ezra Miller. Yeah,
Chimera. Yeah.
And they're definitely teasing Ezra Miller is going to be that Sith, but it's really weird. It's kind of like it's so on the nose that when it is revealed, it's not going to be like oh wow. It's going to be well. I mean, yeah. It's like Lois realizing, hey, every time Clark disappears when there's a siren, and then all of a sudden Superman shows up. Wait a second, where is he going? But okay, whatever. I do think that I don't have a huge problem with him wiping all those Jedi. I know that we're spoiled. All the Jedi we always see are the best of the best in these scenarios, and obviously there's probably scores of Jedi who aren't as talented as an Anakin or Luke, or Mace or whatever. So it's possible these were just your D level Jedi who just that's why they needed so many of them, maybe. But that part was obviously exciting. There's a lot of storytelling elements in this episode that just kind of seemed like, man, no one's really paying attention. This is just fun, and no one cares.
I think that was so. That was those points. Like the biggest thing for me, again, was May's sudden revelation in the switch. That again, it was just like that, as if she was possessed, and just I don't know. It made
it's like she just snapped out of it. It made no sense.
Yeah, like it just all of a sudden now you realize that the mission, or that's not the mission that you want to go through with. You don't have to do it. I don't know if it might have been a revelation of your sister. I don't know. It's
not like she hesitated and didn't kill. Like one more time. What was the Wookiee's name?
Kilnaka.
It's not like she got there and refused to kill him and was like, what am I even doing? or like had some kind of connection with him and just decide. And then my man came in and was like, all right, fine, you failed. I'm going to kill him. None of that happened. He just was like impatient. I don't know. It's like she was there. She was in the neighborhood. She was on the way. Why did he go? Why did he didn't even give her a chance? Like, we're seeing that she's hesitant, but it didn't make any sense for him to be there.
I was talking to Toya about this, and this is where I kind of lie with it. And this is what I'm kind of thinking. Like, of course, we know there is, and this is why I said, the apprentice, not the master. I think that he is definitely the apprentice. There is a master, and I think what happened was the master sent him with her to watch, sensing that there was a bit of divisiveness in her. There is that light that, again, Master Shoal is saying that exists. So it's mainly having her there. He watches her, knowing that she's going to hesitate. He's like, no, we got to get the job done, because he was very adamant about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they're going with it. It's just the cut scene with him saying, I'm going to go get you more water. You saw, this was the obvious. He said, I'm going to go get you. They don't think we see this shit, but we're going to get you some more. I'm going to get you water. You rest. He grabs his bag. He grabs and bounces. And I'm like, yo, I just saw what you did, motherfucker. Like, don't think that that's foreign. I saw what you did.
You want some orange juice, Lois? I'm gonna go find a phone booth. Like, come on.
Yeah, and
freshly squeezed.
Just leaves, and again, she's, I guess, has this recollection and whatever, and then sets a trap when he gets back. The whole screaming. He gets back. He traps her. She traps him, and then tells him what's in. It was just. That whole sequence, I think that was the very first time, honestly. And I know people are just, and I want to say this, and I preface it by saying it's like, yo, just because I am kind of like really hard on this particular episode, it's just like, right. Yo, a coach being hard on the player, but that player has potential. Mm-hmm. The potential's there. I'm gonna be hard on you, especially if, again, I think that you can do better. And I'm hoping that the episodes going forward will be better. But I just think that this episode, to me, out of all four, and everybody was talking about, this episode is going to change things, whatever. No, I was already on board, despite of the hate watching that a lot of people do and a lot of things that were talked about. I was already on board for it. You had me because, like CC, I am definitely in on the murder mystery. I don't know what that was. Did you hear that?
I did.
What was that?
That was Ezra Miller.
Babe, what was that? What was that?
Find out on episode 5.
Huh? Oh, the picture fell off the wall. Is that Leia?
Oh no! Was it a picture?
I didn't crack. Yeah, it was Leia. You heard it too, didn't you? Yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, slight little pause. I thought we had like a little earthquake, but it was just a picture that fell off the wall. Maybe it was a cue for me to stop talking shit. I don't know. But it was crazy.
Karma.
But karma, right? We wanted to do better, but I just think that my problem was, again, just the transitions didn't really make sense. And if everybody knows about that species, again, the one you called Gus, whatever, they're more intelligent than what was led off in this episode. They're highly intelligent individuals, but they never really showed it. They're not just sniffer hounds. There's more to it than that. But again, there were some high points. Like location was incredible. Like CC, I'm on board with you when it comes to the mystery. I love.
Yeah, but when they got to Koneko's house, for $20 million, y'all could have filmed that one in the woods. They filmed that one at like Lowe's in the garden section. That was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was tough. I would have liked to see them film that part actually in the woods. It was clearly like a set. It took me out of it a little bit, but there were some really cool location shots like on the way there.
Yeah.
So,
and this is what I believe. I've been saying this for the longest time, that I believe it's Indara. You're not going to I believe that she's the master, bro. I believe that she's the one that's behind a lot of this, and everything is being set up a certain way, and that she knew that May was going to actually, and that's why even in the first episode when she was like, "Why are you here?" Because number one, she didn't think that she was going to go through with it. On top of that, I think that she senses a lot, there. So it was crazy. But this episode to me, I'll put it this way. I'm still on board. And here's another thing. And I know a lot of people are going to talk about this, CC, and I'm gonna probably let you kind of take the helms on this. The whole controversy with Ki-Adi-Mundi. That whole thing has blown up, and it's been a discussion all damn day, to the point where people are saying, and you know what? I saw it and I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to go looking for it. People were upset because apparently Disney changed on Wikipedia his date or his age. Like they changed.
I think anyone can change Wikipedia, but also I couldn't give less of a fuck. Like,
yeah, right?
I'm sorry, like how many people can raise their hand and say this is their absolute favorite character, and that changing his birth date just fucked up their entire like essence of who he was as a person and why they cared about him. Like, come on.
And they can say that they knew how old he was.
Exactly.
Motherfuckers Wikipedia that shit.
1949 BBY. Like, no, you did not know when he was, how old that motherfucker was when you seen him.
I don't care,
bro.
I literally don't give a shit. And also, like, it could be, are we all racist? Like, are we sure that's the same guy? Or like every one of his species like look the same? Like, what are you trying to say? Like, I think people are just jumping on stuff to jump on stuff, and I could not be bothered. Like, he could be the master, and I could be like, all right, that's cool, but like I don't understand. And like I swear the arguments of people who are so like they're changing canon now. I'm like, I had to Google who this guy was in the first place. Like, people are acting like Star Wars is set in stone. It's a documentary. This shit actually happened. Like, just chill. Like, just calm down.
Bro.
Like, that's no wonder no one can enjoy Star Wars anymore. They say it's because Disney fucked it up, or because women are directing it, or it's woke because it features lesbians. Again, that's woke, but like people need to chill. I think they're taking things way too seriously, and no wonder you can't enjoy stuff when you're overthinking about it like that.
I mean, it is kind of funny that one of his famous quotes were, "It's impossible to sit for extinct for a millennium," and if he was there 100 years ago when they had to fight one, but that's like, I mean, that's pretty nitpicky, because it's really vague what is defined as a Sith or not. Anyways, like, anyone who uses the Force for evil isn't necessarily a Sith. So, they're just dark side. So it could be interpreted a lot of ways. I don't know if it was actually confirmed that was him or not, even. But yeah, there's valid issues with the show, and then there's some. Well, we don't want to be called sexist for bitching about this or that, or racist about that. So we're gonna nitpick the technical stuff, like is Ki-Adi-Mundi's appearance, fuck up canon or not?
Yeah, it's here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing, and I'm glad that Clinton, you said this, right? Like, number one, we still don't know who's gonna make it off that planet.
And Soul too, bro, because he made a point to be like, "Yo, don't tell no. We ain't gonna say shit about this." This is like this is the start of the Jedi not necessarily being corrupt, but bending the rules to do what the fuck they want.
I think they always have. I think it's highlighting it. I think that at least my interpretation of what, at least I think even before we kind of got a huge gist on the series, it might have been episodes 1 and 2 where I was like, they're kind of trying to imply that the Jedi aren't perfect. It's almost like you made that acronym, like the analogy of cops, where I think because of what we know from the original trilogy and Anakin, like he eventually saw the flaws in the Jedi, but this is showing that those seeds, those flaws, those bad apples were planted
being exposed.
Yes.
Eons before Anakin was even a thought.
Before he was an actual thought, definitely.
And obviously, like, I like that because it makes it kind of like what I liked about Andor is it made it realistic. Andor made you understand why the average people feared the Empire, whereas we didn't get that before. The torture, like the systematic imprisonment, like all that kind of stuff. I think this is supposed to do the same, but with the Jedi, showing issues that they lie, that they cover up, that they pay attention to stuff like optics and how things look to the average people because it's a PR thing. And I think that's why they're also worthless as fighters. Like some masters are good, but I think otherwise some of these people don't stand a chance because they're cocky.
Exactly, and that's the thing, and that's what they've been saying is that again, the Jedi of the High Republic were, because they were so immensely powerful, they were arrogant as well. I mean, we saw that when May was like, you know, a Jedi only draws her saber or their saber when it's with the intent to kill. And then again, you saw Indar, you know, lower her blade at that point. She lowered it because she started thinking about it, you know, and there we know that in this era, there's a lot of hubris with these Jedi. And the reason why I like the aspect of exposing a lot of it is because of the simple fact that who knew about the High Republic before now? About the high, you know, we knew about certain elements of the lore. And just like Beskar Kid said, that's why they call it legends, not canon. That's, you know, again, there's only aspects that we knew. A lot of people didn't know anything about this. And it was room and space to, again, explore the reason why Ki-Adi-Mundi said what he said. There might have been reasons why even him being there that he didn't know. Again, we don't know which one of these Jedi are going to necessarily make it off the planet at all. Mm-hmm. We don't know. We don't really know in this aspect who's going to make it off. And what Soul said was, we have to get, let's get me, like, let me get you and May off of this planet, and then I'll tell you everything. So again, there's a lot that we don't know, and all we know is that they flip it on the backs and say, yo, Soul is pretty much, you know, a conspirator as well. We don't know yet. But I love that. The thing is, I love the whodunit aspect, the mystery of it, that we're trying to solve this thing together. I think that it's deliberately on the nose that we think, you know, that we believe, you know, that the Sith, you know, is Chimera. We basically believe that it's Chimera based on just certain things that were set in place. Him stepping away, him being tied up, and then we don't see him anymore. Then at the end, you see someone ignite that blade. You see a human hand on what we don't, but at the same time, we just don't know who it could be. But I think it's too on the nose. If it is Chimera, that's just too much. But maybe it's a disposable character, because remember, everybody, no one aside, you know, I guess basically when it was previewed, from what I'm thinking and what I was told even by Cam, everybody is caught up to episode 4. That means reviewers, everyone who's seen it already, they're already caught up. Nobody knows what happens from 5 on. Mm-hmm. So we're waiting to see what's going to actually happen now. We got 4 more episodes to now see something completely new that we didn't see in the trailers. So nobody knows.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Yeah.
Okay, so the prequels are not my favorite. I would not claim that I'm an expert in all of them. So is the issue with that Jedi Master whose name I can't pronounce, this guy, Conehead?
Ki-Adi-Mundi? Yeah.
Yeah. Is the issue that he told Mace Windu, like, there hasn't been a Sith for like 1,000 years? And you're like, well, wait a fucking minute, you were there. That proves that the Jedi suck. Like, that either no one got off that planet to talk about what happened, or they knew for a very long fucking time and lied about it.
Yeah.
Seems very like the Jedi from optics and all that. So, like, again, people are getting their panties in a twist, and I think it just adds to the story.
But here's the thing, and like, you bring up a very interesting point, CZ, because what did we know about the Jedi from the prequels? What do we know? That basically, even in their hubris, they couldn't see past their own hubris to realize that the Sith were present, that it was an, you know, and especially when, you know, Mace advise that we have to let the council know, or not the council, but we have to let the Senate know that our ability to use the force is diminishing, because they're realizing like, we didn't see this right under our noses, because of our own hubris, our arrogance, and us thinking that, us being keepers and peacekeepers of the force, whatever, that none of this could actually inspire. We saw, and even George Lucas back in the day, even with those prequels, was trying to expose the hubris of the Jedi, that they weren't as clean cut. And that's what everybody wants to believe. I was thinking about this months ago, and actually years ago, to be quite honest. It was like everything is always from a point of view, and they always live by this mantra that everybody thinks that what they are doing is right. The Jedi think that because they are held and upheld in such high esteem that, again, that their way is the only way. Like episode 2 was crazy when they, not episode 2, but episode 3, they go to the planet, they're on that actual planet with the Covenant. And I was like, you are really being, a hypocrite when you're saying that the Jedi do not take children. What? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, where did you get that from? Like, you're literally lying to these individuals saying that you don't, but getting on them because they're harboring kids of their own. And they're saying like, we have the right to test if they are force sensitive. That's just like, that's like automatically a draft. Whatever planet you go through, I'm drafting your children, and you can't do anything about it.
Bro, and think about it, for like their powers and abilities. That's some like slave auction shit. Like, like here's a strong one. Come on, get in the van. It's fucked up, bro.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, whatever they do with Ki-Adi-Mundi, I'm like, all right, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It that I'm not really focused on. I'm not focused on that aspect of it. I can look, if he's there, if it serves the plot. Remember, like, I'm not going to pass full judgment on this entire season because I haven't seen the entire season. So I can't say it's shit yet. I can't. I'm sorry, and I won't. I really won't. I know a lot of people are saying that the writing, and there are things that we see in this show, or these shows, that there are holes there, but you still got to give it a chance. And the thing is, what kills me, this is the biggest thing, bro. The people who say it's shit and that they don't like the show are still watching it. You see, you literally, like we said up the top, you're hate watching it just to have content, but you are still providing the views. You're still providing viewership. That's what doesn't make sense to me. So you just want to watch it and keep watching so you can say at the end of it, it failed, but you still watched it.
Yeah. I mean, I've got friends who refuse to watch it, but anything Disney, they assume is going to suck regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't.
It's again, was this the best episode? Was it, top notch? Was there, no, it wasn't. It wasn't my personal favorite, but I'm still enjoying the fuck out of this show. I can't say for anybody else. I'm enjoying it. The space that I live in is, and I'm willing to give it a chance. I think there's a lot of great attributes and possibilities and opportunities for this show to get better as it goes. I just think it's a slow crawl. And we know within the Star Wars lore, people, or within the community, people don't like that slow crawl. They want everything to go bam right off the bat. I get that, and I respect that, but not everything happens that way. Vinny, were you about to say something?
Yeah, my shit is flexible. Like, if I'm watching a show where we don't know any of the characters, we don't know what's going on, like, I'm not going into this expecting it to be, what I expected out of like the third season of Mandalorian, where like I knew all the players and what kind of action and writing to expect, or like going into this, I'm going into it entirely differently than I'll be going into the second half of Andor. You know what I mean? I'm not expecting it to be, the Citizen Kane of Star Wars, and I'm not expecting to see Kenobi versus Vader. I'm not expecting these things. So I guess I'm able to enjoy it more than some others because my expectations were kind of low for it. Like, I didn't know what it was, so I'm just watching what happens. and they're presenting new ideas, and some I really enjoy, some I don't enjoy so much. They're not hurting anything I've already enjoyed. You know what I mean? So like that's what's frustrating to me about people who watch Star Wars shows or whatever that they don't enjoy, and it for some reason it for them it takes away from the Star Wars shows that they do enjoy. And to me, that's like, all right, if I read a Spider-Man comic that's not good, that doesn't fuck up all the dope Spider-Man comics I ever read. Or if I watch a good basketball game, it doesn't. It's like any piece of media that we consume that isn't good doesn't affect something that we already enjoyed or liked. Same thing if somebody puts out a song that you don't like and it doesn't change the other songs they made that you do. So I'm enjoying a lot of stuff that from this show is giving us. It's world building. It's adding on ideas and things from the Jedi culture and lore that we haven't seen. Some of the stuff that I feel is a little jarring is that there's a lot about the show that feels like it could have taken place during the era of the prequels or even the OG trilogy or even the sequels. It doesn't feel necessarily 100 years prior, and there's a lot of story elements that kind of depend on you looking at it from the aspect of this was 100 years ago, so things were different. I feel like it's not always clear because so much of it is so similar, and I feel like maybe that's hurting people's perceptions of it and what they expect from it. But I think the most biggest change in the Jedi that we see, or the Star Wars world that we see, that's different from the prequels or OG, is like Coruscant not being as developed. Like that's the only thing that really kind of looks different, and not seeing the typical Star Wars Jedi that we know, like a Mace or a Yoda or anybody like that. Like we're not seeing familiar faces, and there's that double-edged sword. It's like, all right, you don't want the same stories, don't want the same people over and over, and they tell a removed story, and people don't necessarily enjoy that either. So you can't please everybody. I'm taking the good from it that I can, and if I don't like, I'm able to criticize without throwing everything out because I don't like certain elements. And there's more show to go, and I'm enjoying finding out what's going on. I didn't need this to be like the savior of Star Wars and be the best, addition to Disney Plus lineup that we've ever got. I needed to have some fun stuff that was interesting and entertaining. Whatever didn't work, it's just like, all right, I hope y'all, do better next time. That's it.
Best Guard Kid said, I'm telling you, restaurant for toxic Star Wars fans. Doesn't matter if the food is good or bad. They'll still be back week after week ordering the same meal just to complain about it online. It's, you know what? And here's the thing. And this is what worries me. And because after this show, we have Skeleton Crew in, I think, November, December? I think it's around that time. Right?
So.
That's what I thought was announced for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the Skeleton Crew that's actually coming up. And my thing is, that one is definitely going to be geared towards it. They said it's going to be like the Stranger Things of space. That's what they're sort of like saying. And we know Jude Law's in it. There's a couple other individuals that are actually in it. But it's one of those situations where I'm afraid how that's going to be, taken. And if it's geared towards children and you're talking about this stuff online and you're posting up these certain things under, whether it's, Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, whatever, there are children that actually watch this show and they read certain things. And I'm just afraid how that's going to interfere with their viewing of this show. I mean, because again, we got to remember, like, what's for us, for generations, we've basically enjoyed Star Wars. This is a fresh take on Star Wars for a new generation, and this is what they know about it, and which also gives them the incentive to go back and watch everything else before it. You know what I mean? So we have to, things change, and that's one of the biggest things that people aren't willing to accept change. They want change, but they don't accept change. They say they want it. They want us to move on from the Skywalker trilogy, get into something new, we do that, then they want you to go back. No, well, that's not what happened. This is something new. It's a new take. It's something brand new. So if you want that, then accept it and give it a chance at least. I don't know. It's like, they want it all, but not really accepting. I don't know. It just I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to me. We just have to actually see how it's going to be. See, Skeleton Crew, woke failure. Click here, right? That's what it is. That Pedro, you are right, and that's what it's going to be. That's what you're going to see headlines, woke, or again, clickbait. Content creating motherfuckers is going to put that shit up so you can click on it. Yeah, it just happens all the time, bro. Nobody wants to give, and the thing is, those motherfuckers smother the people with honest opinions, whether good or bad. They smother that. They smother people who have, if people are really, really upset about the writing, and that's cool. I can understand that. They're being subjective about it and it's constructive. But then you have motherfuckers using derogatory and bigoted language and racist. Not everybody in the Star Wars community is that way. We understand that. And we're not talking to you guys that have constructive criticism. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those out there who know they are guilty of this shit. And they're doing it on purpose. That's the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a true, absolutely. That's the sad part too, because there's some people who were like, let me check the internet, see if I want to see the show or not. It's like, it's Star Wars. You need Twitter to tell you to watch the show or not. Just watch it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But it's people want to either go with the flow of what everybody else is hating on, or go against the flow just to be special and edgy and hate on something that people are enjoying. But none of it is genuine. With a lot of people who have heavy and strong critiques, it's like, do you even really feel that way, or do you just want to be accepted by the people having fun shitting on something, or do you want to be special by shitting on something that everybody else is trying to have fun and enjoy?
Oh, but CC, Vinny, guess what? We're not Star Wars fans because we actually enjoy the show.
I guess
we're not true Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
The person who told me that is probably watching tonight, and he's going to put up under the post again that we're not Star Wars fans.
Oh shit, Leo, we're gonna have to get laser tattoo removal.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I've got 3.
I'm gonna have to remove everything on my entire body. I got one here. I got them on my legs, everywhere. Like, I'm just gonna have to remove it all, right?
You gotta get rid of that. Fuck.
I'm gonna have to throw everything out, like everything I have, every piece. Everything gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta walk over and slowly shut off your Star Wars light.
Right, just shut it off, because definitely I'm not a fan. I am not a fan of this. I don't know anything about the IP.
You're a fake fan. I'm convinced if you just go over to those DTOFs and you just hit it right, it's a cardboard standee. It's just gonna fucking fall.
Exactly.
It's a green screen, CC. It's a green screen.
It's a green screen. Everything back here is fake. I'm gonna have to actually. You know what? I'm gonna have to do what everybody wants me to do. And yep, you said it. You said it. You said it, Renz. You definitely said it, bro. You need to give away that Jen Erso layout. That's what I'm gonna have to do. One of my favorite figures in my entire collection, my favorite figure in this entire collection is that one. I'm gonna have to give it away because I'm not a Star Wars fan. That's how it is. And you know what?
You're just gonna have to spell her name incorrectly and be like, I think this chick was in New Hope. I don't know, because fucking fake fan. Like,
it's like a Zach King video. Right. For me, yep, definitely, bro. We're in Salentino. Party ends when Jen leaves the building. You already know. That's what it feels like. We're guilty. It's like we're guilty of our love for something. We're told that we're just not really, really good fans. Not real Star Wars fans, laughing my ass off. I was living in Brethering Star Wars before you were an itch in your daddy's pants. You already know, definitely, bro. 1977, I was there in the theater for the first time. Definitely. And that's the thing. People have to understand that a lot of this beyond Jedi, really, Lucas could give 2 fucks about. To be quite honest, beyond the prequels, he can give 2 fucks. He'll let you know that. A lot of this stuff, and he even said he wasn't just saying it for Disney or Lucasfilm's ownership now, but he was even talking about some of the writers. Nobody knows the Force like me. They don't. And it's the truth. They don't know it like him. They don't. And a lot of things that were kind of made up in lore, it wasn't something that he gave his. Eventually he did, but he wasn't really okay with everything. So
and all those fans freaking out about canon, that man can't pronounce Queen Amidala correctly.
Right. Right.
Like when he talks about it, he's like Queen Amidala, and I'm like, did he not watch the movies? That's not how anyone says it.
Right.
Like,
right. It's man.
I'm like football, man. There's people who watch the sports and bitch every year about who their team drafts and what plays the coach calls and everything, and then all they do is just shit on their own team that they love because all they want to do is just win, and they just get so frustrated by it. But they're gonna go to every game they can and watch every game they can on TV, and they're just gonna have fun being mad when they lose and have fun being happy when they win. And in some aspects, I kind of just try to look at toxic fans as just people who are just grumpy and just want to see everything be perfect like they have in their head, and that's why they don't stop watching when it's something that they don't like, and that's why they're not happy when they do, because when your team wins a championship, then you're just pissed off if they don't win another one. So but you never actually quit or stop watching it. If they don't do what you want them to do, you just bitch about it. And it takes a lot of strength to just say, oh, I'm tired of complaining about something, I'm just not going to watch it anymore. And it's very few people who are a fan of anything who can just say, all right, I'm not going to complain, I'm just not going to watch it anymore. You want to watch it and hope that they change some things that you don't like. And there's a line where it goes from just, oh, I don't like this, I wish they could change it, and over the line where we are seeing, and those people are always the loudest.
And you know what, Pedro, and I don't, and the thing is, it's like I watch a lot of Christian stuff, but there's a lot of individuals out there that I just had to tune out because they've gotten really people. And Cece, have you noticed that? Like, have you guys even noticed that people that you probably used to watch for their opinions and stuff like that, and you did, I actually enjoy their content, have become, they've become just as toxic as the community, because again, they know, and people said it was talked about. I like watching Generation Tech. That's one of the guys that I actually watch. Very informative. I love his views on it because he's down the middle. Like, he choose sides, but at the same time, he is really a Star Wars fan, very knowledgeable about it. But he said it best last week. He was like, yo, it's crazy because people lean in towards the algorithm. The algorithm is which leads people, because that algorithm picks up the jargon. They know that, again, the hot topic right now and the buzz is Acolyte and the hate on it. So people basically fill up their space, their content with this jargon just to get views, because they know that there's a community that wants to kind of join in on that shit. And that's crazy that you're doing it. It could be people out there who actually really love it and like it, but they just do that shit just to get the views. Crazy.
I'm waiting for someone to start advertising "Make Star Wars Great Again" hats, because I feel like we're 2 seconds from like those kind of people, because it just seems so polarized. This is all like it shouldn't be this way. But as far as like who I watch, the ones I've watched for years tend to be very like not even like not picking a side. It's kind of just the facts. So like Screen Crush, heavy spoilers, like they talk about what happened, and they talk about like throwbacks to other books or other canon or legends or whatever, and it's just like as it is, and then maybe there might be like 4 minutes at the end of like how they felt the episode was, whether it was filler, but they're not going to be as like visceral about any of it. I don't know if it's like say what you want, conspiracy theory, because they're monetized channels and all that kind of stuff, but no, I don't. I tend to just watch it and figure out if I like it. I don't take other people's opinions into too much stock.
Yeah. It's Make Star Wars Great Again hats is coming to you at your next man. Yo, and that's been the thing. It's like everybody, I don't know. I just employ people out there. Like one of the biggest things is like, look, You have your own mind, you have your own sentiments, you have your own opinions, whether good or bad. Watch it for you. I would actually do that, right? I would tell people to do some watch it. We've been pushing that. Watch the shit for you, because really right now, if you left it up to people out there who put up this or create such or go to these lengths to create such toxic jargon, if you rely on that, like someone else said, then you're lost. And you are really lost. If you rely on someone else's opinion, and that hate shit, and you don't see it for yourself, nah, man. Like it doesn't make formula. Look, and I could respect you more if you say, look, I just didn't like it. If you say, look, I just didn't like the show. It just didn't work for me. Not everybody's gonna like the same content, and we get that. And I'm not gonna hate you and dislike you if you were honest in that manner. Mm. Hell, I don't hate you if I don't hate the individuals who out there and create this toxic aspect. I just think it's just not a good space. And I pray for you. I hope you get better. I hope you find something that you do like. Maybe go back and watch He-Man and some shit like that. Go back to all that. You know what I mean? Like, if this isn't a space for you, you don't like it. Casual fans and casual Star Wars fans, like a true, and I want to say this loosely. Someone who really loves Star Wars, okay, and I get the passion behind it, but you're also going to be an understanding person, at least try to be. And I don't know. I question people's motives and their agendas when I see a lot of this hate floating around, and especially if I look at your thumbnail and I see woke, I'm never watching you again. Sorry, I just won't.
Also realize a lot of people opinions about Star Wars one way or another are tied to nostalgia. I mean, a lot of people grew up with Star Wars, whether it be OG trilogy or the prequels, and then many years later Star Wars does something else, and it's not what they grew up with, and it's like when a fan of someone's in high school and they have a favorite band, and then 20 years later that band puts out another album, and whether it's Kanye or it's Metallica, it doesn't sound like Enter Sandman, and it doesn't sound like Jesus Walks, and now they hate it. You still got those albums. You can still watch that stuff. The current product might not be for you. Now it's for a new young generation, and you either can kind of like adapt and like the new stuff, cool. Don't like the new stuff, cool. But maybe stop and think, like, what is it that you like about Star Wars? What is it that is magical about it to you? What is it that you enjoy about it? And if it's just certain characters that you're never going to see again, especially how they were when you were in high school, like, it's not going to get any better. Like, we're not going to get movies that look and feel exactly the same way they did to us when we were kids watching it, because we were kids. We digested media differently. We felt differently. We were becoming who we are as people. So who you were and what you listened to and what you consumed in your formidable years as you were growing up, there's something biological about that. People have done research on it. Like, that is stuff that's special and ties to you in a way that, like, can never be replicated again. So, and there's a lot of people like that who just like that shit that they grew up with, and now they don't. And but there's people growing up with it now who feel that way that you felt.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm like, we talked about it before. There's my nephews, like, they grew up with the prequels, and to them, that's just like, oh my god, it's just incredible to them.
It
like,
can't get no better than that. Yeah,
they'll watch episode 3 over episode 5, and to me, that's, I like, at first I just like, what, and then I had to realize, like, that's where they're coming from. That was what they grew up with and came up with, and that's their first, like, and that's their first fix. And you can never, and that's what Star Wars has become. A lot of people chasing that high, that first high, and it'll never kind of be the same. But I think the healthier way to enjoy it is just not necessarily expect it to be as perfect as it was when it was the most perfect to you.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely true, bro. I get that, bro. Like you spot on the nose. Like, it changes. Each generation changes. They embellish things that we don't, and we have to respect that. And then sometimes if we allow them that grace and not try to dictate their perception, it allows them to go back and see what was, and they'll have an appreciation for that. Right now, basically, people out there creating content trying to steer people in the path to hating something. What does that do for you? Like, really? Like, because the thing is, what happens at this particular point is when you do that, you're creating a perception of who you really are, and people look for you just for that.
Yeah.
So if you switch and say you like something, they're gonna be like, yo, who are you? Who the fuck are you? Like, didn't you say you didn't like this shit? No, we rally with you because this is what you know what I mean? So again, it's a line that you tread, bro. It's a line that you tread when you do that. You know what I mean? Like if I just switched Vinny and said, you know what, Vinny, I'm a Star Trek fan, bro, more than Star Wars. You're gonna look at me like I'm crazy. You're gonna be like, yo, what? For real? Like what?
Yep.
Are you for real? If I be like, yo, man, I was just fronting. I like Star Trek more, bro.
Yep.
You're gonna be like, what? You know what I mean? That's just, it's, I'm not a Trekkie. I watch, look, motion picture, Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, that stuff. Yeah, I remember, but everything after that, I just never follow.
Yeah, like, Vinny, man, when I start shitting on Acolyte and I start my Uncivilized Trekkie page, it's blowing up. So I'm sorry.
You know what I mean?
Like, nah, man, like it's crazy, but I mean, like, I try not to give them the energy that they want, man. Don't feed the trolls. That's what I always say.
Nah, no, bro.
Trolls, and I understand a lot of people watch way more channels than I do, and they find it harder than I do to avoid the negativity. But
yeah,
it's a shame because it does.
He said, "I'm not offended."
It's opposite day here at Uncivilized Scoundrels, man. Hey,
yeah,
man.
That's the thing, bro. Like, again, bro, like I do like Star Trek better than Star Wars. And you know what, bro? Hunter, and that's quite all right, bro. That's quite. Not everybody has to like everything, bro. I get that, and that's the big thing about it. He said, "I'm not a huge fan of Star Trek Discovery, but I watch it to keep the franchise going, and I pay for a Paramount Plus because of that." Got you, brother. I dig it. I definitely dig it. He said, "Sorry for what?"
One thing
that's beautiful. I love those green flags because I do shit like that too. Like I'll buy I won't like drop a comic that I really like if I don't like the team that switched up on it because I don't want that comic to get canceled. I'll watch the show as a completist even though I don't like this season necessarily because I don't want the show to get canceled. Like that's positive energy that isn't talked about more. That there's fans out there doing everything they can. They're buying merch for their favorite rappers or metal band or whatever, so that way they keep making money. It's like there's a lot of fans who do a lot of positive stuff to appreciate and enjoy fandom instead of just tearing shit down.
Yeah, definitely. Cece, what were you about to say?
The friendly banter is nice. Like it's like a running joke now because Todd from Spec Fiction posted something about Lord of the Rings being better than Star Wars. And I was like, how do you unfriend on here? So the group chat, anytime, like, I think he posted, I don't know if it was like a 4K set or something like that was like on sale on Amazon. So everyone in the group chat was like, oh my God. And then John from Off the Racks was like, yo, I know what Cece's getting for Christmas. Like that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's just, you can't take it too seriously.
Yeah, definitely you can't. You can't. You gotta just, again, it's if you don't like something, you don't like something. Let's move on to the next. It is what it is. You're not gonna like everything. There's things and again, like I was very critical about this episode because again, I just felt as though it could have been better. But that's not gonna stop me from watching the show because I want to see where it goes, and I'm still gonna give it a chance. I think we all should. But other than that, man, again, great show. Thank everybody for thanks, everybody out there for coming through and being a part of it, man. It's been definitely a good one. Cece, you're on vacation now. I know you were excited about it.
Sort of. Yeah.
He says sort of.
I came back from vacation like a week and a half ago. So now I'm kind of like back in work mode, but I was off yesterday for the federal holiday.
Gotcha.
I took off today. I will say, because it's me, am I allowed to plug an art print even though...
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Okay, I'm not getting any money from this. Bottleneck has an art print available now. It's going to be available until midnight Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, but it's part of Jason Edmondson's Eyes Without a Face series, and this one is Maul.
Okay.
I bought it. It looks amazing. I don't know if
is it still up right now?
Yep. Which is rare. When can I ever talk about art prints that are like, it's available now? You could fucking order it right now. It's not, so it's a timed release. So they'll print as many as they sell from like, I think it was noon Eastern Standard Time today to almost midnight on Sunday Eastern Standard Time. So they've done, this is the 5th Star Wars one he's done. The last 2 he did were, one was Leia, where it was just her eyes, obviously, and another one was a Stormtrooper. I don't know if those ones were as popular, but the first ones he did were Kenobi and Vader from the Kenobi series, and those were incredible. It's Bottleneck Gallery is the website. It'll be on the homepage, I'm pretty sure. And those Vader Kenobi ones, those were really popular. I only bought one set, even though I was tempted to get 4, 2 for home, 2 for work. And I have regrets because now if you try to find them, they're quite expensive. But I think this one's going to be really popular because Maul is obviously so cool. And size-wise, I'm like, I wonder if I've got one next to me because I typically do. It's that one right there. It's 9 inches long and 5 inches tall. So it's like life-sized, if that makes sense, like based on the size of your eyes. So yeah, I think this is really cool. And they're great for people like me who are running out of wall space. But it's definitely felt like the year for Maul.
Yo. There it is right there. Oh, that one. Man.
I know I was tempted by that because I really like the artist, even though it wasn't a likeness of any, like it was definitely a comic based woman. Yeah. She's great.
Yeah. Again, Bottleneck Gallery. This is where you can actually go to find it as well.
They're not paying me to say this. If they'd like to, let's talk. But like, no, I don't get paid. They just have a lot of my money. Because I've been buying their stuff for years, but so that artist Jason Edmondson, he initially did the Star Wars ones with Mondo, and then Funko bought Mondo and laid off all of the guys, like creative directors who started Mondo.
Yeah.
So as soon as that happened, Jason Edmondson was like, well, they can go fuck themselves. I'm not working with Mondo again. So I was really concerned that they weren't going to continue the Star Wars series. For that reason, but I'm glad that he's still doing them with Bottleneck Gallery.
Hell yeah, because they got some incredible prints. That Wonder Woman, I'm tempted, but that Maul definitely is dope. So again, guys, if you're looking for it right now, time release, go over there, head on over there, and get that Maul Bottleneck sites right there. I'll keep it up. Another site that I want y'all to check out too, because he probably ain't gonna say nothing, but you got to check out Vincent Dunn Art. Make sure you head on over there. You get a chance to get all of his prints, stuff that you're looking for, things that you won't be. If you got a lot of one-offs, get it while you can. I will basically say get it while you can before he shows up at the con, because a lot of this shit will sell out. Especially if you want originals, you can show up at the con and get them. But definitely if you're looking for certain prints, Star Wars related, Harry Potter, again, topic of Star Wars, you see all the stuff that we actually got here right now. There you go. You can actually find them, and a lot of them are original prints. Crazy. This Tusken Raider right here is my favorite. Love that. So definitely make sure you head on over there. Vinny, I would have let you say it, but I kind of steal your thunder because I'm a fan of your work.
What Leo said. Thank you.
Definitely, man. As always. Anyway, Vinny, what you got going? Well, CC, what else you got going on besides Bottleneck?
I'm gonna try. So like the Rogue 16 guys are gonna do a show tomorrow. I'm gonna try to make it, but we're doing it with our friends across the pond, so it's like almost the middle of the day for us. So it's not the best for me. I'm gonna try to make it after I leave work. But other than that, I think we're gonna be watching episode 5 of Acolyte live. On Tuesday night. At least Matt and I. We couldn't do it this week because he had his wedding anniversary or some shit. I don't know. Nothing important, right, to miss Acolyte for. But yeah, we're trying to keep up with it. I know, like the show tomorrow, we're going to be talking about probably the PCS mall, the third scale mall statue. I feel like some other stuff's come out that I'm completely blanking on. But yeah, so we'll do that show, and then Acolyte on Tuesday. I'm way overdue for a print show. Hoping to do that somewhat soon. And then I haven't been on their channel in quite a long time because I work far too much. But I did want to plug, because I'm also wearing their shirt today, if you couldn't tell. Not that you could read not English, most people. But Collecting Weekly, they recently surpassed 4,000 subscribers, and they just
5,000 now.
5,000, yeah. And it was Zach's birthday recently. I want to say Zach or Dean. Zach. So congrats to them, friends across the YouTube spectrum. That's all I'm dealing with.
Definitely, man. Thank you. Remember, CC3PO on Instagram. You can find her there. You can find her on Rogue 16. Definitely. Make sure you support, and again, dropping a lot of knowledge about the prints and stuff like that. You're looking for Bottleneck Gallery, the link is there. Thank you, CC, as always. Thank you for being there, man. Definitely we can't wait the next week to see how this next episode is gonna go. It's gonna be crazy. Let me put this Bottleneck. I'm putting a link in the chat as well, so you can actually just go ahead. You can go ahead and check it out. I'll put Vinny's link there as well. If you actually want to click in and take a look there. Vinny, what you got going on, man?
I'm looking forward to a few more weeks here. I'm out of the toughest, busiest part of the season, and that way it gives me some more free time to get back to work on some projects that have been itching to get out of my brain and onto paper. Should have some another con coming up in August at here in Harrisburg. Looking forward to that. So I'll start working.
He just paused.
With friends quick. On Monday, and we'll be back here on Uncivilized Scoundrels next Thursday to talk about Acolyte episode 5. So
hell yeah,
looking forward to all that. More boys on the way too. So looking forward to.
They just dropped episode 4, right?
Yeah, I didn't see tonight's episode. I was busy, so I'm looking forward to catching up on that. I'm seeing a lot of hype about it, so I'm going to try.
Bro, I just finished. Media. I didn't see it. I haven't seen it yet, but I was able to basically catch up. Bro, you didn't tell me about episode 2, bro.
Yeah.
Did you see it, CC?
No, I haven't.
Nope, we ain't gonna say nothing.
I don't say that because, like, I haven't started the newest season, but your face, that's why I haven't, is because I haven't been in the right headspace, considering the inaugural episode of season 3 is still ingrained in my memory.
Yeah.
So, I can't be eating anything. I have to be in, like, a decent state of mind before watching it.
Yo.
So that's
definitely you do. Definitely you do.
I have
especially for episode 2.
Okay, good to know.
There's some. They have fun with it. There's a lot of very interesting choices and decisions.
Bro, you just said it so politely. CC is some fucked up shit. I'm gonna tell you that.
It always is. It's the boys.
It is supposed to be, but I am so fucking surprised that the networks or you know fucking Amazon give them the green light to say do what the fuck you want to do. Yo,
Yep.
episode 2, nope. Yo, I'm telling you, it's crazy. It is crazy. But since I got off the next 4 days, I'm gonna be binging a lot of stuff. I'm just gonna relax, binge as much as I can. And it's gonna be incredible. Remember, make sure you are following Vincent Dunn Art, CC3PO as well. Again, what do we got going on? Tomorrow is Figure Flex Friday, of course. It's the start of the Summer Madness, so make sure that you sign up. Head on over there and again start submitting your photos, your figure photography. Again, it's Summer Madness sponsored by the one and only Hawkwar's Toys, so you definitely want to head over there for that. We have Uncivilized Scoundrels. Uncivilized Scoundrels next Thursday, but on Sunday, we got Collectors Lounge International. Monday, of course, like Vinny said, Comic Book Talk with Friends. To Say What Wednesday, full rotation. As you know, we always do. A couple videos is going to be dropping this weekend, so I can't wait to do that. Again, thank you guys for being here. Definitely, it's been a pleasure. Remember, just stay kind, always stay civil, be constructive, and if you can't do anything else, always stay uncivilized. We are out. Peace. We got to go. Gone.
So uncivilized.